TOJI is an acronym that stands for the Texas Opportunity and Justice Incubator. The idea of the program is to provide opportunity for recently licensed attorneys and justice for the citizens of Texas. The application process for this first cohort of attorneys was quite competitive. We had more than 50 applicants for the available 10 spots, which is really quite remarkable given the newness of this program and the fact that it's something that we really haven't seen in Texas before. And eventually we extended 10 invitations to the 10 attorneys that joined the program. And they're a very diverse group coming from all across the state of Texas.
I wanted to become an attorney because this is really cliche, but I wanted to help people.
So it sounds kind of silly and simple, but I became a lawyer because I wanted to be able to help people.
I like solving problems and I like helping people. And law is one of the unique professions out there that gives me an opportunity to do both.
When I was 10 years old, I would tell people that I wanted to be a technical lawyer, which really meant, I know now, patent lawyer. I really wanted to help people bring their dreams to life, to build their inventions and get those off the ground.
I've been serving my community since I was in high school as a teenager, and I think what I wanted to do in my professional career was continue to help others, and that's the reason I became a lawyer.
Usually at some time in your life, you're gonna have a need for a lawyer. Hopefully not too frequently in your life, because usually people only go to lawyers when stuff's not going so great. But yeah, so I wanted to help people. And it's also fascinating. The law is fascinating just as a social system.
Law is so complex that I don't really ever feel like I have a complete grasp on it, so I'm constantly being challenged. But I'm also helping people with issues that they need guidance on. And at the end of the day, when they tell me thank you, I know that they mean it, and it's a deeply rewarding profession.
The thing about TOJI that excites me the most is that I have met some remarkable other attorneys in my cohort. I've been really pleasantly surprised at the people who are participating through this with me.
The thing that excites me the most about TOJI and that excited me the most in applying to TOJI is having a community of people who are going through the same experiences and the same challenges, and having others to collaborate with and building those friendships.
And also the group of people behind us, meeting people who are excited to help us get off the ground. So I'm out here on my own, but I'm not really, because there's a group of people behind me. And that's just great.
We're really being set up for success here. And then it's also really cool sharing an office with people who have a bunch of different practice areas. So for example, I had an immigration law question for one of my cases. And I was able to call up one of the other attorneys and be like, what is this? Help. And so it's just really cool to have that many resources, people around that you can bounce ideas off of and support.
One thing that I would like to add, we are working in a very non-traditional space. We're based out of a WeWork, and being that my client population skews a little bit older, I wasn't really sure how that would all fly. But it turns out, by virtue of being in a very startup-rich kind of environment, I've been able to make some very interesting connections with people outside of the legal world and establish some great potential referral sources.
So I actually have followed the incubator movement for a long time. And so I was super excited to see that the article that Frank Stevenson had written about the overalls and announcing that he was going to start an incubator program. And so I kind of stalked the internet until there was more information about the TOJI, the actual TOJI program. And so I'm just super excited to get involved with something that's really on the forefront of changing the legal profession.
There's never going to be a better chance or an easier start or a stronger start to opening my own firm than there would be with the TOJI program. I would have not only financial resources behind me, but also mentors and the state bar and tons of educational resources. And I jumped on it. I talked to one person about it and he said, oh my God, I wish I had had that when I started my own firm. That's amazing. I don't have to worry about going into debt to pay rent it's definitely a great opportunity.
The reason I chose an incubator was very simply because they work. All across this country, and even in foreign countries, incubators are equipping lawyers to close the justice gap and to also provide for their families. It is a proven model, and it works.
We refer to the justice gap as the space between where an individual or a family will qualify for free legal aid through nonprofit organizations, and the place where an individual or a family can afford market rates. The average hourly rate in Austin is $300 an hour for attorneys. And as you can imagine, the space between qualifying for free legal services and really being able to afford that market rate is very significant. That middle, sometimes also called the unmet middle, is the justice gap.
The justice gap is very simply the tragic truth that in our nation right now, a large number of Americans go without their legal needs, oftentimes their most profound legal needs, ever being met, but ultimately becomes much more than an access to justice issue, becomes a self-identity issue, becomes a question of who we are as Americans and who we are as a society, and how we can possibly be, with this persisting, a city on a hill, as our founders envisioned.
It's kind of on this cutting edge of trying to help attorneys find the balance between being affordable and making a living. And this is something I've thought a lot about as I've come out of law school, and I have always wanted to serve low and moderate income clients and to be affordable and to not have really high fees. But then as I start to kind of formulate what that looks like and look at my student loan debt, I think about, well, I really need to make a living. And I think common theme among people who want to help low-income clients, and particularly attorneys, and TOJI is kind of on the forefront of a kind of new way of looking at this problem and a new way of trying to navigate the affordability and the ability to make a living.
In addition, we have 100 hours of pro bono work that we do as part of our participation in the program. And I'm going to be working with veterans through the Austin Bar Association's Veterans Legal Clinic. And I've already been to one, and it was a really interesting experience. And I'm also going to be working with Disability Rights Texas, doing some special education work to help them serve some of the clients that they normally have to turn away due to lack of funding.
We got this program off the ground in almost record time, almost just about 10 months from start to finish. And a lot of people put in a lot of hard work to make that happen. We wanted to create an event that would celebrate that success. It involved a project team who put together the program, Frank Stevenson, our state bar president, who initiated this program, and of course the member attorneys who have courageously accepted becoming a part of the first cohort. They were all encouraged to invite friends and family and to celebrate the launch of their new businesses.
On the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
The justices of the Texas Supreme Court were very interested in meeting the TOJI lawyers, and they extended an invitation for us to come to the courtroom and to meet them in person. They wanted to hear about our efforts to bridge the access to justice gap and the ways that we are working to train these newer attorneys to serve the legal needs of low and modest income Texans.
We have an exceptional group of TOJI participants right now, and I'm very confident that those lawyers are going to make a difference and be very, very successful. But ultimately, the goal of TOJI is to inspire and to guide the formation of legal incubators all across our state. And by doing so, we will fundamentally change the landscape in Texas regarding legal services to the underserved.
I'd like to add that if you're a young lawyer fresh out of law school and maybe you've thought about going solo, but you haven't thought that it's a real option for you because it just seems like an insurmountable wall, I want you to know that TOJI is there and you should apply because it's really worked well for me, and I think it could work well for anybody who considers a solo career.
I'm incredibly thankful for the State Bar for putting this program together because I have resources and people backing me that I would have never had as a solo practitioner. Not just with the fellow attorneys that I have with me in the program, but our director and the state bar president and all of these other people who find out what we're doing and they're so excited about it and they want to help in any way they can. It's great.